Hello everyone and welcome to an exciting journey into the world of reproduction, specifically focusing on a very important topic, population control and family planning. Today, we'll explore why managing population is crucial for our future, how families make smart choices, and the science behind it all. We'll start with the basics and then dive deeper, exploring different aspects across 4 levels of understanding. Let's begin. Ready to understand the basics? Let's uncover what population control and family planning truly mean and why they matter for us all. First, let's understand population control. Imagine our planet as a big home. Population control is like making sure we don't have too many people in our home, so everyone has enough food, water, and space. Its main purpose is to ensure that essential resources like clean water, healthy food, good housing, and quality education are available for everyone to live a good life. By managing population, we can prevent overcrowding, reduce the strain on our environment, and ultimately improve the quality of life for all citizens. Next, we have family planning. This is about individuals and couples making conscious decisions about when to have children and how many. It involves using various methods to prevent unwanted pregnancies, giving parents the power to choose. The benefits are huge. It helps parents be ready and responsible, ensures the health of both mother and child, and allows families to provide better for fewer children. For example, a couple choosing to have their first child later and then spacing their children a few years apart is a simple, effective family planning strategy. All right. Let's test your understanding. Take a moment to think about these questions. 1. Can you define population control in your own words? 2. Why is family planning important for the health of a mother and her children? And 3. Give one example of a simple strategy that families can use for planning their family size. Good luck! Now that we've covered the basics, let's delve a bit deeper into the reasons behind population growth and the various methods used for family planning. Understanding population growth is key. Our population grows when more babies are born than people die. If this growth is uncontrolled, it can lead to serious issues like not enough resources, lack of jobs, and poor living conditions. India, being the most populous country, faces significant challenges due to its large and still growing population. The goals of population control and family planning are to improve everyone's quality of life, ensure sustainable development for future generations, and empower women to make their own reproductive choices. Contraception, or birth control, refers to any method or device used to prevent pregnancy. We have two main categories: temporary methods, which are used for spacing children or delaying pregnancy for a period, and permanent methods, which are surgical procedures for couples who have completed their family. These methods are crucial tools in empowering individuals to make informed choices about their reproductive health and family size. Let's explore the types of contraceptive methods. Barrier methods, like condoms and diaphragms, physically stop sperm from reaching the egg. Hormonal methods, such as pills, injections, and implants, work by using hormones to prevent the release of eggs or thicken cervical mucus. Intrauterine devices, or IUDs like the Copati, are small devices inserted into the uterus that prevent implantation. Finally, surgical methods, known as vasectomy for males and tubectomy for females, are permanent procedures involving tying or cutting reproductive tubes. Time for some medium-level questions. 1. What is the primary reason for uncontrolled population growth? 2. List 2 benefits of effective family planning for a society. 3. Name 2 barrier methods of contraception and explain how they work. 4. Differentiate between temporary and permanent methods of contraception with an example for each. And 5. How does a Copati prevent pregnancy? Think carefully about your answers. Ready to explore the complexities? Let's analyze the societal impacts, ethical dilemmas, and government strategies related to population management. Uncontrolled population growth presents significant demographic challenges. A large young population can be a demographic dividend if educated and employed, but a burden if resources are scarce. It strains infrastructure like housing and sanitation and leads to environmental degradation through increased consumption and pollution. This can also trap families in a cycle of poverty. Ethical considerations are vital. We must respect individual autonomy in reproductive choices, ensure equitable access to services, be sensitive to cultural beliefs, and promote gender equality, involving both men and women in family planning decisions. Let's compare the effectiveness and potential side effects of different methods. Barrier methods are generally safe but require consistent and correct use, with condoms also preventing STIs. Hormonal pills are highly effective if taken regularly, but can have side effects like mood changes or, rarely, blood clots. IUDs are long-acting and highly effective, though they might cause heavier periods or cramping. Surgical sterilization is nearly 100% effective and permanent, but requires a surgical procedure and is generally irreversible, making it a significant decision. Governments play a crucial role. India's National Population Policy 2000 aims for a stable population by 2045, focusing on reproductive health and women's empowerment. It promotes a two-child norm and expands access to family planning services, especially in rural areas. Family planning is also directly linked to Sustainable Development Goals. It improves maternal and child health. SDG 3 allows for better investment in children's education. SDG 4 empowers women. SDG 5 and helps manage urban resources sustainably. SDG 11. This integrated approach is essential for holistic development. Now for some hard-level questions. 1. Explain how a large young population can be both a demographic dividend and a demographic burden. 2. Discuss two ethical considerations that arise in family planning programs. 3. Compare the effectiveness and potential side effects of hormonal pills versus barrier methods. 4. Describe the main objectives of India's National Population Policy 2000. 5. How does family planning contribute to achieving SDG 5? 6. What are the environmental consequences of uncontrolled population growth? And 7. Why is consistent and correct usage crucial for barrier methods? Take your time to formulate comprehensive answers. Are you ready for the ultimate challenge? Let's dive into the intricate scientific mechanisms, historical evolution, and advanced socioeconomic theories underpinning population control and family planning. Family planning programs have a rich history. India was a pioneer, launching a state-sponsored program in 1952. Over time, the approach shifted from coercive targets to voluntary, rights-based welfare. International conferences like Cairo in 1994 emphasized reproductive rights and women's empowerment, fundamentally changing global population policies. Understanding this evolution helps us appreciate the complexity and sensitivity required in population management, moving from a narrow focus on numbers to a broader perspective on individual well-being and human rights. Let's explore the sophisticated mechanisms of modern contraceptive technologies. Oral contraceptive pills, for instance, use synthetic hormones to suppress ovulation, thicken cervical mucus, and thin the uterine lining. Progestin-only methods primarily thicken mucus and thin the uterine lining. IUDs like the Copper-T release copper ions, creating a spermicidal environment, while hormonal IUDs release progestin. Even emergency contraception works by delaying ovulation or preventing implantation. This engineering insight into how these methods precisely interact with the body's biology is fascinating and highlights the scientific advancements in reproductive health. The demographic transition theory describes how populations change over time. It outlines stages from high birth and death rates to low ones as a country develops. India, with its falling birth rates and already low death rates, is generally considered to be in stage 3, moving towards stage 4, but with significant regional variations. Socioeconomic factors are powerful determinants of fertility. Higher female education often correlates with lower fertility due to increased opportunities and delayed marriage. Urbanization and better access to healthcare also lead to smaller families, while poverty can perpetuate higher fertility. These complex interconnections highlight the multifaceted nature of population dynamics. Population management faces several challenges. There's still an unmet need for contraception, meaning many women lack access or information. Adolescent reproductive health is a critical area, requiring tailored education and services. Greater male involvement is essential for shared responsibility. As fertility declines, countries also face the challenge of an aging population. Future directions include research into new, more convenient, and non-hormonal contraceptive methods. Community health workers, like Ashas in India, play a vital role at the grassroots level, providing information, dispelling myths, and ensuring access to services, making these programs truly effective. Now, for the deepest dive with our first set of hardest questions. 1. Trace the evolution of family planning programs in India, highlighting the shift in approach. 2. Explain the detailed mechanism of action for combined oral contraceptive pills and copper-T IUDs. 3. Describe the stages of the demographic transition theory and identify India's current stage with justification. 4. Analyze how female education and urbanization influence fertility rates. And 5. Discuss the concept of unmet need in family planning and its policy implications. Good luck! Let's continue with the remaining hardest questions. 6. How do progestin-only methods differ from combined oral pills in their primary mechanism? 7. Evaluate the significance of the Cairo and Beijing conferences in shaping modern family planning. 8. What are the major challenges faced by countries transitioning to stage 4 or 5 of the demographic transition model? 9. Explain the vital role of community health workers like Ashas. And 10. Propose future directions in contraceptive research. These questions require comprehensive, analytical answers. Push your understanding to the limit. And that brings us to the end of our in-depth exploration of population control and family planning. We hope this journey, from the basics to the most advanced concepts, has enriched your understanding and sparked your curiosity. For more such engaging and comprehensive educational content, make sure to visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for regular updates and new lessons. Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep growing. Thank you for joining us today.